Uncircle. We're getting really personal in stream tonight. I like my cut. Hey, that's good to know. I like your. I mean, I don't know what your cut looks like, but I'm assuming your cut's good. Where Niz are foreskins? Do any of you guys know the Bible story of David and the Philistine foreskins? In the Bible, you have David, who is the second king of Israel. He takes over for Saul, who fell out of favor with God when he forsake God and chose to live more by the flesh and less by the spirit. Basically, for a quick summary, David works under Saul for a while, and it eventually comes to this point where David is to become betrothed to Michal, Saul's daughter. So now Saul's daughter Michal loved David, and when it was reported to Saul, it pleased him. I'll give her to him, David thought. She'll be a trap for him, and the hand of the Philistines will be against him. So Saul said to David a second time, You can now be my son-in-law. Saul then ordered his servants, Speak to David in private and tell him, Look, the king is pleased with you, and all his servants love you. Therefore you should become the king's son-in-law. Saul's servants reported these words directly to David, but he replied, It is trivial in your sight to become the king's son-in-law. I'm a poor man who is common. The servants reported back to Saul, These are the words David spoke. Then Saul replied, Say this to David, the king desires no other bride price except 100 Philistine foreskins to take revenge on his enemies. Actually, Saul intended to cause David's death at the hands of the Philistines. When the servants reported these terms to David, he was pleased to become the king's son-in-law. Before the wedding day arrived, David and his men went out and killed 200 Philistines. He brought their foreskins and presented them as full payment to the king to become his son-in-law. Then Saul gave his daughter Michal to David as his wife. Saul realized that the Lord was with David and that his daughter Michal loved him, and he became even more afraid of David. As a result, Saul was David's enemies from then on. So there's a legitimate story where Saul tried to kill David by getting him to slay Philistines, and the bride price was 100 Philistine foreskins. And this isn't even the best version of the story, because depending on the Bible version you have, it says that David threw the bag, like the burlap sack of foreskins, directly onto Saul's lap. So, Saul's just sitting there in his throne. David comes in. He's like, oh, okay, David must have failed. No. David is carrying this bloody bag filled with Philistine foreskins and then throws them onto Saul's lap, just all over the place, just icky.